Okay, we're live. Hey guys, we're here today to discuss the Google Solution Challenge 24. And I'll just wait for 2 minutes so that we can get a couple of people to join in. Hope you guys are having a nice day, and I'm here to make your night a little better. So until we're waiting for people to join, whoever's here, why don't you guys drop your favorite emoji in the chat? Just some stuff. Days here, Drew's here. Okay, we do have a couple of people now. I think we can start now. So yeah, I'll get started with the presentation. So before I shift to the other slides, let me tell you why exactly you should sign up for this challenge. First of all, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. Big plus point. Secondly, it's an international event and it's affiliated with Google. You get to learn a lot about Google technologies, and it'll really help you in your journey as a developer or whatever you want to do. This is really helpful for that and looks good on your resume. So yeah, you should really try this out. So let's get started. I'll first give you guys an overview. So the Google Developer Student Club's 2024 Solution Challenge has a mission, which is to solve for one of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals using the technologies of Google. The Sustainable Development Goals are called SDGs for short. So they were created by the United Nations in the year 2015 and are meant to be achieved by the year 2030. They are agreed upon by all 193 member states, and they aim to end poverty, ensure prosperity, and protect the planet. Now, what exactly are the 17 SDGs? Before I show you them, let me just tell you that they're based on three principles. The first one being a human rights-based approach. The second one being that we leave no one behind. And lastly, gender equality and women's empowerment. So I will just show you guys the different SDGs. This link will be dropped in the chat, so you can check this out later as well. So the first one is no poverty. Then there's zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water and sanitation, decent work and economic growth, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, reduce inequalities, sustainable cities and communities, responsible consumption and production, climate action, partnerships, life below water, life on land, peace, justice, and strong institutions, and lastly, affordable and clean energy. Now, you can see that all these most of them have some example projects listed under them. So in case you want to take up, let's say, zero hunger, so there's three listed under it. So in case you're stuck on how exactly my problem statement or my solution is supposed to look like, you can just check these out, and that'll give you a fair idea because these are from people who have done them before in the previous year's challenges. So these would be very helpful for you to get a basic idea. Now the timeline of the event. It's three phases. The first one being the learn and the build phase, which has already begun on the 1st of December with the registrations being open. And the event will kick off on the 11th of January. And 10 days later, on the 21st of January, the submissions will be open for your solutions. After which they will close after a month on the 22nd of February. And the first judging round will begin in March. This will bring us to the start of the next phase, which is the mentorship phase, in which the top 100 will be announced in early April. And there'll be a resubmit of the top 100 between the 29th of April and the 5th of May. After which we will have the second judging round in May. And this leads us up to the last phase, which is the demo day prep. In late May, the final 10 will be announced. And lastly, on June 27th, the winning three for the solution challenge of this year will be announced. Now, since you saw it's quite a big timeline, we've come up with a checklist so that you guys can split this big thing up into small chunks, and that helps you break it up into small parts and attack your problem step by step. So firstly, getting started, your first step, and this is very important because you cannot take part unless you have joined a Google Developer Student Club. I will be showing you guys how to do this later on in the presentation, so don't worry about that. After this, you would have to form a team. The minimum is 1, and the maximum members that you can have are 4. And after this, you would want to select either 1 or more SDGs that you would be targeting to solve for. And after this, you go to design and build, in which you have to identify a solution for the SDGs that you have chosen. And then you learn about some Google technologies that you feel could help you creating your solution, and you build the front end and the back end for the same solution. And then you test out your solution, hand it out to some users, get some feedback for them, and iterate upon that. After this, it goes on to submissions and judging. You want to record a demo video, and you want to submit your project between the January 21st and February 22nd. As we saw, that was the window for your submission. After this, the top 100 will be announced. They'll be getting mentoring from Google experts. And after this, top 10 finalists are announced in the late of May. And finally, top 3 winners are announced live on YouTube. So this is the timeline checklist. Now, the fun part, the prizes. Google gives out some very healthy prizes. So the top 100 receive customized mentorship from Googlers and experts, which will help them to take their solutions to the next level. They also receive a branded t-shirt and a certificate. Very cool stuff. The final 10, in addition to these prizes, will receive additional mentorship, a swag box, and an opportunity to showcase your solutions to Googlers and developers all around the world live on YouTube. And the contest finalists, in addition to the box, each individual from the additional 7 teams will also be receiving a cash prize per student, which will not exceed $4,000. That's still a lot of money. And finally, the winning 3, in addition to all the other stuff, will be featured on the Google Developers blog and will also receive a bigger cash prize, which shall not exceed $12,000. So that covers our prizes. Now, you might be thinking, I've identified which SDG or SDGs that I want to tackle with my team, but how do I structure my problem statement? So there's a few points to help you out with that. Let's cover what a good problem statement has. Firstly, it would present an opportunity of some significance, urgency, and priority. Secondly, it will relate in the simplest terms possible the process of concern and impact on the community. Basically, what impact is your solution going to create on the community for the problem that you have chosen? The third one being you have enough data so that the audience can understand the size and the scope of your problem together with the degree or magnitude of your problem. And lastly, be sure to keep your problem statement short, between 2 to 3 sentences, and at max between 5 to 6 sentences, because if it's more than that, the essence of your problem is just lost in between all those words. So try to keep it short and crisp. Now, how exactly do you structure problem statement? There's 4 WHs for that: who, what, where, when, and why. Who is experiencing the problem? What exactly is the problem? Where and when is this problem occurring? And why exactly is it a problem? Why do we need to address this? So keep these 4 in mind while you're structuring your problem statement. Now, after that, your submission criteria. There is a Google Doc for this, which will be dropped in the chat. I'll just go over it roughly. So there's 10 lines. Each would be worth 5 points in your submission. Firstly, under project setup, you have to clearly describe the challenge that you are solving for with your problem statement, which we just learned how you should structure. After that, clearly, you have to mention what SDG, 1 or more, you'd be targeting and what exactly led you to choose these. So these 2 are for 5 points. After this, under implementation, you'd have to describe the architecture that your team chose for your solution. What are the high-level components of your architecture, and what are each of them contributing to your solution? The second one, under implementation, what specific products and platforms did you choose to implement these components? And again, reasoning for the same. After this, feedback. Now, you'd have to give them a detailed explanation on what steps you took to test your solution with real users, which means people who are not in your team. So you'd have to get some other people to test out the solution that you have made. And you'd have to give 3 specific feedback points that you received from these users. And how did it help you improve your solution? And what are the 3 specific things that you changed after you got this feedback from your real-time users. And the second one under feedback is you have to highlight one challenge that you faced while you were building your code, and you'll also explain how you address this and what decisions and implementations you had to make for the same. Moving on to success and completion of your solution, you would have to describe the success of your solution using some metrics and goals and outcomes. What Google technologies exactly did you use to track your analytics? And the second one is you have to upload a copy of your demo video. Make sure it does not exceed 2 minutes, and make sure that it demonstrates a working application and how exactly a real-time user would interact with your solution. And lastly, scalability. Where do you see your project after a few years, and how would you expand it to reach a larger audience? And then lastly, you have to explain how the technical architecture of your solution could support scaling to a larger audience. So this is the submission criteria. And now the judging criteria. On what points would your submission be judged? Again, this is for 50 points. There's split into 10 or 5 points each. You'd notice that this is quite similar to the submission criteria. So that's basically what the submission criteria and judging criteria go hand in hand. You have to structure your submission based on those points so that you can get your points in these judging criteria. I'll still go over them once. So under impact, does your entry establish a clear challenge using your problem statement? Is there a very visible problem in your problem statement? After that, are you clearly explaining which SDG or SDGs you have chosen for your solution and what led you to choose them? After this, the feedback. What feedback points did you get from users, and what did you do about those points? How did you change them, make them better? And then does the solution address the challenge that you had originally identified? And does your team adequately describe the success of your solution using your metrics? And lastly, is there some evidence for a plan for scalability, extension to a larger audience? And under technology, has your team clearly described the architecture and the high-level components that you chose, and why had you chosen them? Secondly, does your solution implement all the technical components needed to solve the challenge that you have taken up? And the third one is, does your team highlight one challenge that you faced while you were building your code, and how exactly did you address this? Fourth, does your video actually have a working application of how a real-time user would interact with your solution? And lastly, how this would support more users and could be taken to an increased scale. So that is the judging criteria. Now, how to enroll. So you might remember I had said that you have to be part of the GDSE chapter to take part in this challenge. So it's a very simple process. This link will again be dropped in the chat, so don't worry about that. You click on the link. You click on join us. After that, you'll get this. I have not logged in with this account, so just choose your email, and it will take you to this page. Just fill up these basic details, and after you do, click on sign up, and that's it. You're part of a GDSE chapter. After that, you'll have to fill up this submission form, which again will be dropped in the chat. I'll just show you how it looks. So the details you'll have to fill up on your own. Just one point to remember, you're going to have to select member in this question. Please do not select anything else. And after this, you'll see there's a list of all universities that are taking part in this challenge. So you want to Control F, search for Vellore, and you'll find Vellore Institute of Technology, VIT Vellore. You want to select this because the link that we used before, it would enroll you in VIT Vellore's GDSE chapter. So that's the one you have to select. After that, you scroll through all of these. There's a lot of universities. Keep going. Yeah, you'd have to fill these up based on your problem statement and your solution. And please make sure you read these terms and conditions carefully, and only click on agree after you've read all of them. Don't read these like the ones that pop up on your phones. These are not like that. So yeah, please just go through them carefully. And once you're done, click agree and submit your form. That's about it. And after that, just 3 points to remember, which I had mentioned before. The minimum team size is 1 member and the maximum is 4. And you can't be part of multiple teams. You can only stick to one team, and you can be from different universities. So if you have a couple of friends from other universities, you can definitely team up with them. We also have some resources for you guys. some tools, videos, learning materials. These will be dropped in the chat box, so you can check those out as you're liking. There's also guidelines for submitting a solution and some frequently asked questions for any doubts that you may have that were faced by people who attended the challenge before. So I have 3 FAQs here that were very common last year, so I'll just go over them once. Can my solution solve a problem outside of the scope of the 17 SDGs? And unfortunately, no. You have to solve for at least one or more of the 17 SDGs listed on the site that I showed you. Second question is, can one student or team submit with multiple submissions if they've contributed to both projects? This is not allowed because, like I said, you're not allowed to be part of multiple teams, so you have only one entry per person. And the third question, can I still participate in the challenge if there is no Google Developer Student Club at my university? And yes, you definitely can. Just make sure that at least one, just keep that in mind, at least one student member is part of a GC. That has brought us to the end of our presentation. I hope you guys found that insightful and fun. And please make sure you register for the Solution Challenge. It's a great learning platform for you guys and a lot of cool prizes if you do end up in the top 100, top 10, or winning 3. So hope to see you there. We can end now. Thank you guys for joining. Have a great night. So in case you guys have any questions, you can drop them in the chat and I'll give you your answers for them. Don't think there's any questions. All right, since there's no questions, I think we can end it now. But yeah, okay, we can end now. Thank you guys for joining. Oh wait, we have a question. Can I team up with students from different years? Yeah, you definitely can. You just have to make sure that you keep your team size between 1 and 4, and at least one of you is part of a GDSE chapter. That's it. You can definitely be from different years. Hope that answers your question. Are there any more? Just wait for a minute. All right, don't think anyone else has any questions, so we'll end the stream now. Thank you guys for joining. Oh, we have another one. Okay. When you say part of GDSE chapter, do you mean one of us just has to be signed up, like how you showed at the start? Just give me a moment. Yeah, that is exactly what you have to do. Just go to the link, join us, and fill in your details and sign up, and you are part of the GDSE chapter. Any other questions? Okay, for the third time, I don't think there's any other questions, so we can end now. If you have any questions, please don't wait for me to say this. You've got them, but okay, yeah, there's no more questions, so we can end now. And yeah, make sure to follow us on your social on our socials. It's just GDSEBIT on Insta, Twitter, and LinkedIn too. We'd be posting about it there too. So any questions you have, you can reach us. You can reach out to us there as well. Thank you guys for joining.